fans, it's that time of year again. It's time for AEW's Continental Classic. And welcome, everyone, to this year's selection special for the 2025 Continental Classic. This is Tony Schiavone. Pro Wrestling's greatest tournament is once again upon us. This year, the field is as stacked as it's ever been with AEW's top wrestlers. But before we reveal all of the amazing competitors in this year's tourney, let's take a look at how it all came to a conclusion at World's End last year when we crowned the greatest tournament wrestler of all time and current reigning Continental Champion, and of course, the Unified Champion, Kazuchika Okada.
AEW's World's End is coming your way for the final contest here tonight. We have a barn burner in store for you.
And the emotion of Ospreay against Kyle Fletcher. This is exactly what becoming the Continental Champion is all about. Pushing yourself to the limit.
Styles Clash!
By skin of his teeth, the aerial assassin advances.
The semi-final round match to determine who moves on. Will it be the Rainmaker, Kazuchika Okada? Will it be Ricochet? Rainmaker! It is now time to determine who will win the 2024 AEW Continental Classic. After feeding off the energy of this crowd, he's going to need every bit of it.
And a drop kick just took that energy away from him.
No! He kicked out! Kazuchika Okada now ties the record set by Masahiro Chono, his 5th major tournament victory.
Well, this year's field looks to be just as exciting, if not more so. The Continental Classic is AEW's premier annual tournament. 2 round-robin tournaments consisting of 2 fields, the Gold League and the Blue League. Participants in each league compete for points, with the points leader in each league challenging each other to determine the Continental Champion. Let's take a look at the rules for the tournament. There's a 20-minute time limit for each match. A wrestler gets 3 points for a win, 1 point for a draw, and everyone is banned from ringside. If anyone breaks that rule, they're banned from AEW. It's a rule that's never been broken in any of the 2 previous years due to the severity of the consequences. The league finals as well as the tournament finals will once again take place all in the same night at AEW's World's End pay-per-view event, emanating this year from Chicago's Now Arena. It'll be Saturday, December 27th. Tickets for that event are on sale right now at AEWTIX.com. AEW's Full Gear took place this past Saturday in Newark, New Jersey. And coming out of that event, we had some very explosive words from the Don Callis family.
Don Callis, needless to say, things did not go the way you intended tonight.
Is this really how you're going to start this off? We give you this time. Well, if you mean having an extra $1 million in the family, Hechicero's in charge of the money tonight, I'd say things went pretty well. And by the way, I've got 2 of the best wrestlers to ever do this in Takeshita and Okada. And when they get on the same page, it's going to be the greatest team in the history of All Elite Wrestling.
Takeshita is the reason we lost that match.
You didn't even show up on time.
Can we don't need to blame each other. Let's not blame Okada for this. This wasn't the problem, okay? Here's the deal. Okada has got to defend his Continental Championship in the Continental Classic, and he's going to show everyone, aren't you, why he's the greatest tournament wrestler of all time.
Okay. Well. I will also be in the Continental Classic.
This is great news because the Don Callis family, the more the merrier. The more people we have in the Continental Classic, the better chance we have to win it.
Hey, what the hell was that all about, huh? Protocada? Protoshita? Protocada? Protoshita? You guys both say you're my best friend. You're supposed to be my family, but where were you when I really needed you? Now I lost my title. But that's okay, because that isn't going to stay that way for very long. Because I will also be in the Continental Classic.
Look what you did to Kyle. This is all your fault.
Tensions continue to brew within the Don Callis family, and we now have our first participants for the 2025 Continental Classic. Kyle Fletcher and Konosuke Takeshita each have declared themselves for the Continental Classic, competing against family member and defending champion Kazuchika Okada, who is the longest reigning men's champion in AEW history. He'll be defending, of course, that title in the tournament. All right, let's take a look at where those three and the rest of our competitors will fall as we reveal the entire field, beginning with the Gold League. Entering his second Continental Classic tournament, it's Darby Allin. Darby finished last year's round-robin stage with a record of 2-2-1, earning 7 points. Had an impressive win, an incredible match against Will Ospreay in the Continental Classic, but came up just short of going to the semifinals. Darby's fiercest rival since making his shocking return at All Out, the Bastard Pac. Darby and Pac had a brutal war at Full Gear, and no doubt when they meet as part of the Gold League, we will see more of that same brutality. Pac is entering in his very first Continental Classic. Kevin Knight has appeared in AEW's Owen Hart tournament, but the Continental Classic is another animal entirely. This impressive high flyer has his work cut out for him and has an opportunity to showcase his amazing skills in this year's Continental Classic. In his first Continental Classic appearance, Speedball Mike Bailey will have to contend with his tag team partner Kevin Knight, as well as members of the Don Callis family and the Death Riders. Coming off Full Gear, Speedball came up short in the Casino Gauntlet to crown the inaugural AEW National Champion. So he will have plenty to prove in the coming weeks. We know Mike Bailey is a tremendous athlete. What kind of endurance will he be able to display in this year's Continental Classic? No stranger to the Continental Classic, former TNT champion Kyle Fletcher. Fletcher had a standout performance in last year's tournament, making it all the way to the semifinals. Now competing against members of the Don Callis family, does Fletcher have what it takes to make it to the finals and claim the championship? Of course, as we said, he just lost his TNT championship to Mark Briscoe. Fletcher needs to have a very short memory and shift his focus now to becoming Continental champion. Another member of the Don Callis family, Kazuchika Okada. Okada enters this year's tournament for the second year in a row, defending his Continental Championship. In what is the most difficult tournament in pro wrestling, can Okada retain the gold once again? Finishing last year's round-robin stage with an impressive 10 points, Okada went on to have two classic battles with Ricochet in the league finals and with Will Ospreay in the tournament finals, both the same night at World's End. The greatest tournament wrestler of all time has several intriguing matchups with the inclusion of two of his fellow Don Callis family members. Already this year's Classic is shaping up to be AEW's best yet, no doubt. And if Konosuke Takeshita hopes to challenge for the Continental Championship, it looks as though he'll have to clear the entire Blue League field in order to do it. With that in mind, here's this year's participants in the Blue League. And speaking of great tournament performances, Takeshita enters his very first Continental Classic, coming off the massive feat of competing in and winning the G1 Climax and then going on to win the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. Takeshita's been embroiled in tension with fellow Don Callis family member Kazuchika Okada over the past several weeks. Of course, that boiled over Full Gear this past weekend. In order for Takeshita to have a chance at making it to World's End, he'll have to make it through a very stacked Blue League. Entering his second Continental Classic, the leader of the Death Riders, Jon Moxley. In 2023, Moxley was nearly flawless in the round-robin stage with a record of 4-0-1. Moxley would defeat Swerve Strickland and Jay White in the three-way battle in the league finals before ultimately falling to Eddie Kingston in the tournament championship. That saw Kingston crowned the inaugural Continental Champion. Moxley has been on the longest losing slide of his career as of late, but he will need to turn that around quickly as he enters this year's Continental Classic. Also in the Blue League, entering his third Continental Classic, the Death Riders' emissary of violence, Claudio Castagnoli. Claudio has the most Continental Classic experience in this year's entire field, having competed, as we mentioned, in each of the first two tourneys. This will be an interesting matchup, and Claudio must face his fellow Death Rider, Jon Moxley. Joining the conglomerations of Jason Seville and Roderick Strong and making his first appearance at the Continental Classic, freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy. For more than a year, Orange Cassidy has been in constant battle with the Death Riders, having both Jon Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli in the same league. Well, that's going to present him with more of the same challenge. The former international champion, no doubt, will have his sights set on bringing the Continental Championship home to the conglomeration. Also entering his very first Continental Classic, former international champion, Roderick Strong. Roderick has been on the front lines alongside his longtime partner, Kyle O'Reilly, in the conglomeration in the fight against the Death Riders. He'll have a chance to get his hands on two of those Death Riders in the Blue League field. And rounding out the league, one of CMLL's greats, Mascara Dorada joins the field in his very first Continental Classic. Already, Dorada has several standout matches in AEW, including a three-way match against Takeshita Okada, but all out. Let's see how he can deliver in the Continental Classic. Fans, the 2025 Continental Classic is filled to the brim with the best wrestlers in the world. And I'm more excited than ever to be a part of it. Don't miss your chance to be part of it as well, as we take a look at where the Continental Classic will take place on our way to AEW's World's End. The 2025 tournament begins this Wednesday on Dynamite at the Pinnacle in Nashville, live on TBS. Continues the very next night on TNT on our Thanksgiving Collision. Coming to Nashville, tickets available at AEWTIX.com. From Nashville to around the world, let's take a look at the other cities for this year's Continental Classic. Wednesday, December 3rd on Dynamite, live in Fishers, Indiana at Fishers Event Center. Saturday, December 6th, Collision will be live as part of GalaxyCon in Columbus, Ohio. The next Wednesday, we will be live in Atlanta, Georgia for Winter is Coming from the Gateway Center. Then AEW returns to Cardiff, Wales. It's Collision. Then the next week, we come to you live from Manchester, England on December 17th for Dynamite and Collision. The round-robin stage of the Continental Classic wraps up at Dynamite on 34th Street, Saturday, December 20th, and Christmas Collision, Sunday, December 21st, both at New York City's legendary Hammerstein Ballroom. It all finishes up at AEW's World's End from Now Arena in Chicago, Saturday, December 27th, with the league and tournament finals both on the same night. Tickets for all the events are available right now at AEWTIX.com. Join us now to be a part of history and part of wrestling's greatest tournament. That will do it for this year's selection special of the 2025 Continental Classic. I'm Tony Schiavone. Don't forget to join us this Wednesday live on TBS for AEW Dynamite and the start of the 2025 Continental Classic.